started?
Yes, it's live now.
Can we pull the screen a bit? Like, I think. Yeah, there's too much headspace.
Makes better. Okay.
Hi guys.
I think we are live without a notification, without an announcement. That's why not many people know that we are live.
But it's fine.
Huh?
I think it's fine.
I think people have started joining us.
Yeah, now people have.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah.
Excuse me, who?
As well.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I think we can start. I know
Yes.
Faisal's going to say that Sabrina. Yeah. I forgot the script. I forgot the script. Sorry, guys.
Yes, this is how it is supposed to be like.
A couple of minutes. I'm pretty sure you've never seen a person like this on Faisal's live, but it snowed in Kashmir today, and we've been told that there was no electricity, and which is a bit funny because on one end, when it snows, we really relish something like that, and then you get ripped off of a basic necessity, which is electricity, right? And that sometimes really makes you question the system that we live in.
Yeah.
And as people who are living overseas right now, because you don't know where the future takes us, it's important sometimes, and you naturally juxtapose the two situations in your head. And you compare the sort of facilities. I think that's the first thing people compare. When they live overseas, they try to compare the kind of facilities they have, in a different country than their own. So considering that there is no electricity in Kashmir.
Yeah, it feels very sad. In fact, I think this is after many, many years. It must be after 10 years that I'm not getting abused.
Oh, wow.
So usually when I was in my district, or maybe when recently I was heading the power corporation, so everybody would kind of abuse me. That there's this snowfall, this rainfall. So I'm feeling very relaxed this time that I'm not in the system at the moment, and I don't have a lot of flack to face. But I do feel really sad that in our place we have not been able to build the system so far. Even today, I mean, it used to surprise us kind of that our place snows, there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of cold. So maybe it's because of that our systems go fucked. But when you go outside and worse off places when it comes to weather, places where you have more snow, where you have more wind, where you have more rainfall, but then still the systems have been able to withstand those weather stresses. I don't know, maybe it will take us some time to build resilient public infra. Maybe it takes some time, yeah. But it's very sad. A lot of people kind of were abusing my colleagues today that I was feeling happy. I said, oh yeah, it's okay. What I used to face last year, this is this time to turn of some other people. So what do you think? I mean, why is it so? You have been to many other countries as well.
I think Tawheed should come in the center.
What do you think? What happens?
So I wouldn't say the situation is really that bad, even in Kashmir. If you compare what it used to be 10-15 saal pehle, it's not the same now, right? Things have improved. So that is one positive picture right there.
Yeah.
And then even in the West, in their own ways, these places do come to a halt. I'll give you some examples. I worked in close to 13 countries. I have worked in cities like Paris, and I was in Portland recently. A funny example, in Paris, even if it snows 1 inch, the entire city comes to a halt.
Oh, okay.
Right? The train systems stop. People don't come to work. Obviously, basic facilities, etc., they don't shut down. Like electricity is there. It's not as bad as that. But in their own ways, these cities do just shut down. In London, it happens. I'm sure if it snows a foot in London, the entire city will be completely shut down. Same I was in Portland, Oregon. An inch of snow and the entire city grinding halt. So it's not as bleak as that either.
Because you would assume that in a first world country,
this doesn't happen.
This won't happen, but it actually happens everywhere.
It happens here as well.
But I'll tell you where the difference is. The difference is where, I mean, how quickly do you find a resolution? How quickly does the system act on, so people can regain access to
Exactly.
the facilities. How long does it take to clean up?
Mm.
Kitni der mein, what do you call the vehicles that clean the snow?
Snow movers.
Yeah, exactly. So how quickly can a snow mower come? And I think that's where you really question the system.
Exactly. I think the response time in our place definitely needs improvement. But at the same time, then it again comes to the quality of public info that we have. Here, the disruption is maybe it is immediate, but it's minimal disruption. The
Agreed.
Isn't it? I mean, the
Agreed.
system can be restored in a small period of time. In our place, you have electricity lines going across, trees going on. You have forests, and then you have a lot of disruption there. So it becomes very difficult for us because of geography as well, I think.
Correct.
It's very difficult to kind of restore.
Agreed. The remote places, particularly the topography, etc. But I would like to again repeat, there is a positive spin to it as well. It's not as doomed and it's not as negative and as bad.
And I saw people really enjoy winter here. I remember we'd also kind of enjoy when it used to snow heavily those days in my childhood, and it used to be fun. I don't know, all of a sudden then we have suddenly started feeling, oh, this snow is boring. So because we have this Darbar culture also there now. So there's a large class of people, I including myself, we used to kind of move during winters to Jammu. So just because we want to escape those hardships of winter there.
Correct.
But I think winter here, people, in fact, this is fall this time in Boston, and people are like enjoying this. This is what really surprises.
Yeah, I guess as a culture, somehow, even for me, when I moved out of Kashmir, it took me 5-6 years to start, so to say, having fun. In a way. I think we are averse to having fun in a way, probably because of the entire situation in the place.
I remember he told me he would feel guilty.
Yeah, having fun.
For having fun, probably because he felt like that this is not the sort of exposure people have in where I come from, and it's a bit unfair that I come out here and I'm having fun and making the most of my time, while there are so many. I mean, I think it's very thoughtful because not everyone thinks about.
It is.
Ki mere paas. I hope you guys are okay with me switching to Urdu.
Yeah, because we have a mixed audience.
Yeah, so it's very easy to have all the comforts of life and to enjoy and not really give a hoot about what people in underprivileged or people who come from families with modest means are going through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get what you're saying.
In fact, you remember in the last couple of weeks when we were planning to do these live programs, again and again something would happen in Kashmir and then it would kind of stop us. We'd feel bad. Or there's been an incident in Kashmir. How we can possibly go for a live? I mean, this is something which actually does affect us.
Exactly.
So far away from your own place, and then still it kind of
it stays with you.
It's hard. With you. Yeah. It's very hard. It's kind of this time there's a disruption in Kashmir. We heard there is an incident. We kind of rethink twice that is it okay for us to laugh on a live show?
Is it appropriate?
Is it appropriate? Because these things do matter.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, somehow something which still connects us with our place. We are participants in that disruption which is happening there. We are participants all the time in that pain, that suffering, that agony which our people go through. I think, in fact, that's what binds us together. When we meet any Kashmiri in other parts of the world, or anybody from our state, in fact, somebody from Ladakh, somebody from Jammu, it doesn't take a minute to connect.
Yeah.
It feels like we share a lot with each other. So you immediately go for a dinner. You immediately feel as if you're from a single family, because maybe our life experiences are so similar.
But also the helplessness that sometimes you really don't know what to do.
Yeah.
There are times when on Instagram people reach out to me asking for favors, which they probably know that I'm not in a position to deliver those promises, being so far away. But when someone shares something with me, I feel like it's my job that even if I'm not capable of delivering a promise like that, then maybe I should do something about it or reach out to someone who might be able to help.
At the same time, it feels really sad at times that when you're so far away from your home and you see problems happening back in your place, and I see a certain kind of impatience, a certain kind of concern in everybody. Everybody wants to do something about it, but because you cannot do something about it from such a distance, what you do is that you then look for other people. Okay, let's have a conversation at least. So I see a lot of Kashmiri friends coming to my place, giving me a call whenever something happens in Kashmir. That why is this happening? Why are we not able to do something about it? And this pain, this concern, I see it in everybody. I don't know. I mean, this is such a beautiful weather here in Boston. People are enjoying in Cambridge. People are going out. You just had Halloween season. But I see that sombriety, that sadness of Kashmir still catching. I see sad faces there.
True.
I don't know why. I see Kashmiris sad even if they are thousands of miles.
Place.
Yeah, they're in a happy place.
So
I don't know what happens to them. I don't know why we are not able to kind of cheer ourselves up. I don't know when things possibly will change in our place.
And it's surprising because I think people assume that because Kashmir is largely a conflict-ridden zone, people assume that you should be so used to it by now because violence is so normalized, right? The fact that human life is nothing, people assume that they should be used to it by now. But the fact that you still see people being so affected, despite being thousands of miles away, it truly, and I'm only part Kashmiri, so I can't, I'm in no, and I keep saying this, I'm in no position to, because I wasn't raised there, I haven't seen the brutalities firsthand, but I know for a fact that because they're still so unhappy, every time something happens, it really reflects and shows how close-knit the Kashmiri society is. And if and when time comes, they are going to lift each other up, and they're constantly like, I think the Kashmiri Gathering in North America group is hosting a fundraiser. I don't have the details right now. I have them somewhere in my phone. They're hosting a fundraiser, and people are making concerted efforts. Concerted efforts are being made.
In fact, I was equally surprised to see the kind of concern which the Kashmiri Diaspora has for that place.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, when I was in Kashmir, I didn't have much interaction with the people here. So I had a different kind of perception about these people, that maybe they are detached from the place. They've just moved on to the greener pastures. They don't care much about that place. They just want a certain kind of politics or a certain kind of thing to happen in our place. No positive values are coming into Kashmir from the diaspora. But I think in the last couple of years, it has been a game changer for me, my travels outside, and I have realized that how intensely the Kashmiri diaspora thinks about Kashmiri community and about the entire state, in fact, and how active they are outside and how many initiatives are being taken and how youngsters from Kashmir are being helped by people who are here, and they want to facilitate them while they want to come to Europe or to America or to London.
I think that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing about adversities. It brings you closer. As a society, it brings you closer together. Yeah. The social fabric becomes stronger, and you tend to that identity becomes stronger, and you tend to help each other more. You tend to be more close.
In fact, it takes us. We need to step back a little bit to actually appreciate what binds us together. Because when you're in Kashmir, I have seen a lot of people kind of differentiating on the basis of somebody will call you a Gamut, somebody will call you a Shahrukh, somebody will see your caste, somebody will say he's a Peer, somebody will say he's a non-Peer.
I think you're being polite.
Yeah. Somebody says he's from a different region, somebody will call you a Gujar, somebody will call you he's from his language is different. You often tell me that this Kashmiri kind of accent comes into my English as well.
It comes, but also when I try to speak in Kashmiri,
it comes because this is part of our upbringing. But when you move out of Kashmir, I don't know what happens. All these small distinctions we make, everything vanishes. You get kind of bound in one. I don't know how it happens.
I think it's a thing with distance. I'll give you an example. I remember it was this astronaut who was on the International Space Station. He says the first time he was there and he was looking down upon Earth, the first thing he tried to look for is his place, right? But as he spent 2-3 days there, then he started looking for the larger country.
Okay.
And then after about a week there, the entire Earth, he started looking for other features. Where is Everest? Where is this ocean? Where is that ocean? So with distance, you tend to come out of that thing. Oh, that's
you start zooming out.
Exactly.
You start zooming out. Exactly, that's happening. In fact, one tends to be very provincial, very parochial, very narrow.
Yeah.
When you're at a certain place, you don't even value the place. we kind of get bored. We say, oh, Kashmir is like this. So once you go out of your place, and then possibly you realize what's the problem there. To be very honest, in last couple of years, I've felt really educated. I mean, having born and brought up in Kashmir, having witnessed the conflict of the last 32 or 34 years, certain things have happened in the last couple of years which have kind of been transformative for me.
Mhm.
My entire outlook of looking at that place, the people, the situation has changed. And
Yeah.
and Harvard education has been a complete game changer. It has totally certain concepts, certain understandings which I had totally gone upside down.
Like
But
what, for example?
I will those are intricacies. I will be
Okay.
sharing those things with you. But my point is that when you move out of your place, you actually start valuing it. And that certain concern, that restlessness which you see in people here, that lack of happiness. I don't know why. You see people writing to you that our internet is not working. You can see comments
Yeah,
that
lots.
our battery is getting discharged because we don't have electricity available. You will also see some people saying that we have a lot of corruption there, people are not responding. It does bring in a certain kind of a survivor's guilt in us. We feel
Yeah, that's so
that
true.
guilt is so there that why are we being privileged? Why are we enjoying our life somewhere else? Why are we not there actually? And to be very honest, this is not only in certain people, I have seen it across the people. I don't know why it might surprise, in fact, a lot of my friends. It surprises a lot of friends when I tell them that I meet around 95, 96% Kashmiris who I meet here, who I meet in Europe, who are very happily doing things. But they tell me, oh, we want to go back to Kashmir. Can you imagine this? I don't see this kind of sentiment anywhere else. People really want to go out to the greener pastures. They want to make their life good elsewhere. But I don't know why Kashmiris are so. Are they homesick? Are they attached to that place? Are they nostalgic about that place? But I see this intense craving in
It's the
every Kashmiri. Everybody
experiences,
wants to
yeah.
go back.
I think it's the experiences we all grow up
Yeah.
with, and the place. It has a very strong identity. The place itself, it's so beautiful, and the landscape so stark. All of that stays with you, no matter how far away you move from the place.
Yeah. In fact, what I see is that uh, we have some more comments. Some friends are asking us to reply to their comments.
Hang on, I'm just trying to.
Asmat Ashai is saying, what is being discussed? Asmat Ashai, we are just discussing, we're just missing our place. And I think we were just talking that why is it that while we are in Cambridge also, we don't feel this is like Cambridge fall, this is like Kashmiri fall. So we're just kind of, this is a very light conversation about our place, our people, our ideas, and how we feel about that place.
Someone just wrote that European Kashmiris might be really happy. I don't know. I mean, I haven't honestly ever met someone who's living in Europe and is a Kashmiri, but Europe can be very grey and gloomy. So I'm not exactly sure, and people are not very social. Locally, people are not very social. So I beg to differ on that front. But yeah, if
You mean Kashmiris in America are more?
No, I'm not talking about just Kashmiris. I think a lot of the times, because see, the Kashmiri community is not that big compared to the actual population, the actual American population, right?
Yeah.
Like the natives.
Obviously.
Yeah, right. So naturally, because back in Kashmir, they're used to visiting each other on a daily. There is a culture of having tea together, and there is a culture of literally having mini panchayats where you discuss family issues and stuff like that. That sense of community and that amount of socialization is very difficult here.
Exactly.
I mean, I was in London before this for 3 years. The first year was the most doomed year of my life. Nobody talks to you. You can't give them a friendly smile. You can't expect them to smile to revert to any kind gesture. It's very formal and it's very basic.
Okay.
You interact at a very basic level, and from there you just move on. There is nothing beyond that. In Kashmir, conversations go beyond these things. It's beyond. So I think one of the reasons why, even for the Kashmiris who are here, except for the fact that they have each other and that they organize groups and they meet and fundraisers and stuff like that, if that didn't happen, this can be a very lonely place. It can be. A lot of students would know. So
it does, in fact. So we're getting messages like no
When are you
electricity in
returning?
entire Kashmir, welcome to the
Faisal.
dark world. My sympathies with the place and the people. I feel sad about it that even today we don't have electricity available.
In 2018.
But we were talking about the disruptions, that these disruptions do happen across the world when there are extreme weather conditions. But then yes, as an officer there in the state government, I would feel that maybe yes, all of us are kind of complicit. It's an omission for all of us that over a period of last so many years we have not been able to develop that infra there for people. But I'm sure I've not lost hope about it. I'm sure with time we'll be getting better.
I would pick on that last thing that you said. You haven't lost hope about
Yeah.
it. I consider myself a rational optimist that way. I think things have become better. If you all reflect back and go 5, 10, 15 years back, things are not the same. They are better and they will get better.
Exactly. We don't have to lose hope about the place. I'm sure a lot of people really want to do. I see a lot of youngsters having tremendous ideas, having tremendous passion to do great things. Yeah.
Exactly.
You have young officers now coming in the civil services. You have young people coming to politics. You have young people actually going to activism. So there is a lot of passion. There's a lot of accountability in the system. And at least you will see there's a lot of outrage at least. You will see people at least making right kind of noise. When something doesn't work, you will see people across youngsters making noise and asking for their rights, that something is not working correctly. We want things to work correctly. And today people do not have any problem when it comes to access to information. Today Kashmiri youngster, the guy from Jammu, the boy from Ladakh, they understand what's happening in other parts of the world. You cannot tell them this happens, it's okay. They know how to compare. They know the internet is there, so they have access to the rest of the world.
I think someone wants an introduction to. Can you introduce yourself?
You can. Yeah.
I hate this part. I don't know how to introduce myself. My name is Sabreen Hazik. I am a communications professional. I graduated with my second MA in social media, culture and society last year. So I'm still a very new puppy on the block, and I'm waiting out to finish my formalities before I delve into my job search back again. And Tawheed has a very impressive profile in contrast to me right now.
Yeah, I'm Tawheed. I'm from Kashmir as well, and I've been sort of on the trot for close to a decade. I started working in the States as a management consultant about 10 years back.
10 years back.
Yeah. And ever since, I worked in Europe. I have worked in Latin America, close to 13 countries. And I'm back in the US for now, working in the field of AI solutions for businesses.
Last time we really wanted you to join us for the discussion on artificial intelligence and machine learning, but somehow I could not. I think last time also we saw a lot of questions about AI being posted to Tawheed. I think maybe in coming days, Tawheed can do one full session on AI and machine learning, isn't it?
Yeah, knowledge sharing is great. I mean, I'm pretty sure that because AI is such an upcoming futuristic thing still, that I'm pretty sure there are people who would like to take it up as a profession long term, and they would like to have some insight into how to kickstart.
In fact, there's a very good comment that.
Are you able to read it from there?
Yeah, I'm now reading from there.
Okay.
Then more and more people from our state, from the rest of the country, do need to go out and get better education elsewhere. It is a fact that the universities back home have not been able to kind of raise themselves to the standards of the world. And one concern which I have about the universities and the higher institutions in our part of the world is that we don't have many international students coming to our places.
Yeah.
I wish Kashmir University or Jammu University had students from other countries.
You mean like an exchange program?
Diversity. You have a lot of international students, even in universities in Delhi, even in JNU, in DU, you have people from South Asian countries, even from Western countries coming and studying there. They do bring in a certain kind of value system, a certain kind of different, a certain kind of variety, a certain kind of intellectual capital they bring into the university. And I think I have not seen many students from other parts of the world coming to Kashmir University or to Jammu University. I would really wish one day that we have more students from other places coming to us and more students from our place going elsewhere.
And that's very important. If you see all the successful places in the world, the biggest cities, take an example of, let's say, New York, San Francisco, London, and even Delhi in India or Islamabad in Pakistan, wherever it is. Any place that has a mix and amalgam of people, these are the successful places, because diversity brings in more ideas. It brings an outside perspective. And if you're not diverse, you have these set of old ideas that keep floating around. They grow, they become stronger. There's no one to come from outside and question
challenge
them.
Those
no
ideas.
One challenges them, and you get stuck in that.
They say it very correctly that you call it an echo chamber. So you feel like you are in an echo chamber, and your own ideas or the ideas of the people who think like you, those ideas are kind of being deflected onto you, and you kind of live in a fool's world.
Agreed.
One question Dr. Ijaz Yasmin has asked that, what about people not coming back to Kashmir? Those who are in US, who are in London, who are in other parts of the world, should they come back then? What's your thought about it?
See, again, some do, some don't, right? But let's talk about the people who don't, right? Are they in any way contributing back to the place? Maybe not as much as they would if they were in the place itself, right? But in a way, they do absorb these ideas, thought process, right? These new ways of thinking. And as and when they interact with people back home, right? Or even if they come just for a visit, they do tend to question certain things. And just these interactions in themselves, they do contribute to the betterment of the place, right? It's like, let's say if Kashmir is a rock or a stone, and these small little new discussions that these people who are staying outside have with people who are within the state, it's like hitting the rock with a hammer. The rock might not break apart, right? But it does make small.
It makes a crack.
It's not the same place. Again, it might not be as much of a change, as much of a difference a place would make, a person would make by living in that place, right? But it's still not that they are contributing nothing to the place.
No, and also I don't. I mean, I may be missing something here, but I don't understand the connection between physical presence and towards making, because to be honest with you, when someone from Kashmir goes out and when they try to, I don't know, help in any capacity from overseas, they're bringing in a fresh perspective.
Exactly.
They might be able to help Kashmir, I mean, quadruple the amount compared to someone who's actually present in Kashmir. This is not to discredit anyone who's doing a lot of groundwork there. I sincerely wish you the best. But what I'm trying to say is that there is this general notion that they wouldn't understand what we're going through because they're not here. But the point is that it doesn't really matter. The physical presence, I mean, who doesn't want to go back to their home? I mean, except me, because I'm partly from Delhi and I have no intentions of going to Delhi. And I'm sorry if there are people from Delhi here, but I just don't feel connected to Delhi anymore. But apart from that, I would say that it is possible to make mammoth contributions even from overseas. It truly is. It's a very skewed perspective that, because you're not here, especially like, I'm pretty sure like Faisal and Tawheed, they've spent all their childhood in Kashmir. It's not like they're missing the context. I definitely am. Like I said, I'm in no position to make any comment. I am, because I haven't seen the struggle. I haven't seen the social order in Kashmir. But I would say it is possible. And whatever little contribution you make, whether you're here or whether you're there, that is what counts, and not your geographical placement. Because like Faisal correctly said, you think that Kashmiris living overseas are probably having a gala time, but this guy yearns to visit home a lot. I sometimes question why I don't feel like going to Delhi a lot. For those of you who are not understanding why I'm saying I'm from Delhi, my mom is from Srinagar and my dad is from Aligarh, but I was raised in New Delhi. So I understand Kashmiri thoroughly and I'm familiar with the culture, but I still don't have that context because I haven't lived there properly.
Exactly. In fact,
That's my point.
there are both sides to it. When I'm in Kashmir, I feel at times that at least you are somewhere there. People can visit you anytime. So those people who don't understand how to make a WhatsApp call to me in US, at least when I was in my office in Srinagar, they would at least 100 people, 200 people from my rural areas, from faraway places of the state would come to see me, to seek redressal of their grievances. But then at the same time, this logic doesn't apply all the time to all the people at all the places. I think I'm myself guilty that earlier on I would kind of feel that those people who are not physically present in Kashmir, they do not have stakes, or they do not have the kind of right to think about the good and bad of that place because they have made a choice of staying out of that place. But I think it has taken me some time to realize that it will be very selfish on our part to expect those people to leave their jobs elsewhere and come back to Kashmir even when there are no opportunities available for them. People are telling you that I want to leave my job in America tomorrow. Tell me, if I come back to Kashmir, what am I going to do there? I think this is a very logical question. And I saw so many people from top class universities who have moved back.
And they're not
I mean, they have actually left such amazing things here in US and Europe and gone back.
People
And
do that.
people are doing it. And they're telling me that I asked them, do you have regrets about it? They're kind of unequivocal about that. They don't have regrets. That we are here. We have made a choice of coming to our place.
I have immense respect for these
Yeah,
people.
I have immense respect. In fact, I have felt so small. How small my thinking was that I would kind of think that these people who have gone out of our place, they don't have any right to even think about that place now.
Yeah. If someone's written, please provide your phone number.
You can get my phone number through my inbox. I have, in fact, we were also thinking that I had a request from a couple of people from Oxford University. Some guys from Berkeley were also requesting me that they also want to go live through this Facebook page. I am kind of thinking now, maybe from next weekend, I'll be giving my login to those people. They can directly interact with students from other universities. I do not need to be in Breen and Tawheed and others. We don't need to be physically present everywhere. Let's use some technology.
Yeah.
To,
I see a question here, if I may.
Sorry, I just quickly want to thank Jameel Wani. Said something very sweet about a comment I made. So thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
About this question, I see a lot of comments there that are full of sort of hopelessness and despair. Like I wouldn't read the comment, but I see a fair bit of negativity in the comment, right? All I would want to say about that is this lack of facilities, right? It's in a way our strength too. This is what helps us excel wherever we go, from any of the places in South Asia for that matter. I've seen in the West, whenever, let's say, somebody comes to you and gives you something to do, the people from here, they would ask about 100 things first. Oh, will I have this thing to accomplish whatever job you're giving me? Will I have that? They ask 100 questions first. We, on the other hand, since we come from places with basic means, we are go-getters, right? This becomes our strength. We just hustle through it without asking for a person here. Oh, will I have an AC there? Mm-hmm. Will there be electricity? Will there be good water? We'll just go through it because we come from places with very, very basic needs. That I would like to repeat. It's not as hopeless either.
But then, honestly speaking, I wrote something couple of days back. I talked about hope. So people have actually become kind of allergic to hope because people feel that it's kind of a false hope which is being given to them. Things are not changing. There's systemic corruption. I often get to hear about people being appointed through the back door. So a lot of people who are somebody's relatives getting in and getting jobs, getting top jobs, and people actually are despairing because they feel the system is not working. So when I kind of tell people that don't lose hope, we are going to make the things work in coming days, they tell me, come on, you've been there for 10 years. What have you done? They don't understand that it's not an easy task to change the system within 10 years. It's not one person's job to change the system in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It's a lifetime process.
And picking from what you said, it's not one person's job, right? One, we need to leave this hopelessness behind as people, right? We need to start. I know the place we live in, we come from, there is a certain situation that is there. But as people, I think we can be a little more positive, if not completely entirely positive. One is that part. Second, we always keep on questioning the system, forgetting that we are the system, right? It's not that by and large, I know there are external forces that are there at play, but by and large, on a day-to-day basis, we are the system. It's us, right? It's not the shopkeeper out there, the policeman out there, the electrician out there, the teacher out there. It's us, right? It's not that aliens have been brought in from outside, or somebody has been brought in from outside and they are making the system whatever it is.
But you have to also understand that it's very hard to be hopeful, very hard to be optimistic in a place. Imagine a place where there's a cold winter.
Yeah.
The system is not working. The system is not responding.
Yeah.
You have no means of recreation. You have nothing to look forward to in life. You have almost a certain kind of a war going on.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you give hope to such people? This is a question which I have always been asking.
You know, Faisal, I have something to say about this, and I would like to know from you because I don't know much. I strongly feel that there is definitely missing strong leadership, right? Because you seek hope from someone who's able to show you the beauties that lie ahead of you, right?
Yeah.
That outside this despair and outside these cracks that have formed, there is hope. Someone needs to channelize that positivity and show people that, look, I know this is what you feel, but there is, we'll get there. Sometimes you really need to remind people on a daily basis. It's, for example, I don't know if this is even related, the example that I'm going to do. When a person gets really old, they tend to forget, especially if someone is suffering from Alzheimer's, they tend to ask you the same question over and over, right? And even though it's frustrating, and even though you want to say that I just told you, you really need that one really strong figure in your life who's around and who'll tell you with a lot of patience, with a lot of love that, look, I know you think I'm making a fool out of you. I know you think that I'm just probably saying it to maintain my position in the office. But truly, who is there a leader? There is no one. And for those who come with a promise, they often get lost in that whirlpool.
Exactly.
They often focus more on filling in their own coffers as compared to helping people reach a certain level of positivity in their lives. They pay absolute little or no heed to the needs and aspirations of the local masses. So I think to maybe answer that question partly.
I do agree. Yes, absolutely. I think leadership. I have looked at this question many times over that. What happens in an environment where you have a culture of suspicion?
That's the thing.
That's the problem.
That's the thing.
There's no trust. We are in a society where if you kind of try to do something, 10 people will be there who will feel, oh, maybe, but his intentions may not be clean. Because Kashmiris or maybe people from our state or a period of last 100, 200 years, 300 years, we have seen people have actually been betrayed many times. People do not have the kind of courage now to take risks again, to trust people one more time.
But then we shouldn't again fall into that negativity just because we have had these experiences. Because otherwise, see, every time it's either a downward spiral or you spin up, right? It's a choice that we have to make as a people. If we have decided that we want to go down with the spiral, we don't trust someone, and then that person doesn't trust us back, and then we all go down. In a way, I think it has to come bottom up as well. And like she said, there has to be the set of leaders who infuse this hope back and make people think in a more positive way.
For the last couple of days, we have been discussing here about, it's a comparative analysis of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, two biggest civil rights activists, two biggest black activists in 1950s, 40s, and 60s. One interesting thing about America, about other places, which I found is that you have examples of amazing leaders. People who not just led, but actually who had support of people behind them. I was listening to some of the speeches of Martin Luther King. It's like, what kind of fire was there in his belly, and what kind of motivation he was giving to people, what kind of hope he was giving to people, and people understood that this man actually means it.
Yeah.
In our part of the world, it's very hard for people to believe in their leaders. This is a very sad part.
And I think sometimes people confuse a political leader being a good orator with a doer. You can be a great orator. You can have fantastic people skills. But if you're making that speech and if you're not doing something about the promises you're making on that podium, it's not going to, and ultimately that's what people look at. You don't need a bunch of leaders. I would say one strong leader, someone who really empathizes with people, because usually मैंने देखा है जो ये नेता वाली एक speech होती है, they're so typical. You can already look through them and say that, okay, this is just, a lot of the hand gestures, body. I know it's probably very trivial, but it's true. There is a standard. आप कोई form download करते हैं online, उसमें certain default questions होते हैं.
भर जाते हैं.
All those netas, look, there's nobody is really able to say that, okay, you know what, this is what sets me apart from the rest of the sheep. That's really absent. And the other thing I feel is that Faisal talked about cohesion in Kashmiris who are living overseas. जैसे आपने कहा कि caste और ये सब भूल जाते हैं. The moment, I wish for that social cohesion locally in Kashmir.
Yeah.
The moment you recognize each other as people, not even Kashmiris, forget Kashmiris. आप एक दूसरे को इंसान की तरह अगर देखेंगे.
But that happened. I remember during.
Really?
Yeah. Whenever there's a disaster, whenever we are in pain, that instinct actually comes out. I have seen it during floods. Yeah, people in thousands helping each other, putting their lives at stake and kind of saving people.
Yeah.
I mean, that sentiment is always there. People actually want to die for one another.
Kashmiris are, like I told you, my dad is from Aligarh. Very culturally, very stark difference between some from Aligarh and some from Kashmir. I would say the one thing that my father always says is that Kashmiris love recklessly. कश्मीरी माँ जो है ना, वो जितना प्यार अपने बच्चे से करती है, दुनिया में कोई. And he said that I know I'm probably discrediting my own mother.
Exactly.
But Kashmiris love.
I have seen that.
दोस्ती के लिए जान देते हैं.
How my mother treats me, how my wife treats my kid.
Yeah.
I mean, all this is quite obvious. I'm sure the same experience with you as well.
Yeah, I have. Again, what are the non-Kashmiri moms and fathers? You're amazing in your own way. Probably a little bias here, but just an observation. And this is not to say that non-Kashmiri parents are not that nice. Tawheed has conveniently gone away.
He will be just coming back. We have Dr. Javed Saab. He agrees with us that yes, a lot of Kashmiris would want to go back, but they don't have a place to go back in Kashmir. Zuhur Ilahi, obviously, he obviously agrees that yes, this culture of mistrust will have to change if we want to change things in our place. Hazik, we would have wanted you to be with us today, but you're right that it's the ordinary Kashmiri finally. It's ordinary people who will have to set things right and make the first move. And I'm sure they are already doing it. They have not left everything to the leaders. People are taking
charge.
People are taking charge now. There's no doubt on this.
Yeah, and people talk about Kashmir. Even in societies where they know that people might not even know that a place like Kashmir exists, but regardless, they still make it a point to talk about it.
Wani Fayaz says that unless the larger issue is settled, all smaller things will remain unresolved. Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Unless the big picture clears up, there's a huge confusion in our place, and unless the situation improves there, unless the larger question about Kashmir, it kind of gets settled. You're right. It will be very hard for us to put things back in place.
I think, but also the fabric of Kashmir also has to strengthen. Like you said, that floods के time पे लोग एक दूसरे की मदद करने आते हैं. I think it's high time where we stop looking at each other, or we stop asking each other, आपका पूरा नाम क्या है? आपका surname क्या है? आपकी जात क्या है? I think that we really need to transcend. I sincerely hope that कश्मीर में और पूरी दुनिया में इनफैक्ट जहाँ पे भी होता है, लोग ऑब्सेस करना बंद करिए विद कौन पीर है, कौन नॉन पीर है, कौन सैयद है, कौन शेख है. Really needs
but
to
I think those
away.
divisions do exist in other parts of the world as
they
well.
They do.
In every society, you have certain divisions, certain fault lines. Maybe they're a bit more I don't know, maybe we are a bit more concerned about our place. That's why we see those distinctions
Yeah,
more carefully.
exactly.
Otherwise, I'm sure all these distinctions happen elsewhere also, and every community has been kind of trying to improve and trying to move beyond those fault lines. I wish we also kind of, in fact, this is also happening. Let's not be very pessimistic about it. I see a lot of good things happening back in our place, even while there's so much of pain and so much agony around.
Hmm.
So should we change our education system to vocational system? We'll talk about education system in coming days. Being pure Muslim first, then talk about enjoys life. Islam or my faith, my religion doesn't stop me from being happy in my life. This is my belief. Death is a reality, but life is as well as a reality. So inshallah, we'll be living happily here and happily hereafter as well.
And religion is very personal.
A lot of people are trolling us on we had this candlelight exam. I heard a lot of pictures were there.
Faisal,
yeah, you have the battery. You can do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are telling us that about the candlelight exam, which had to happen in Kashmir. We feel sorry about what happens there. Again, I can tell you that at least we feel agitated about these issues, and it's quite possible that one day, very soon, we'll find solutions about it. If people actually start kind of agitating these issues, it's only then the solutions will come up.
No, it's great. I mean, if people are disgruntled about certain things, then it's important that they come out in some form, because eventually what happens is there is a bottleneck situation and then your own people turn against you. So, yeah.
So, a lot of questions about Kashmir. I promise you that very soon I will be discussing Kashmir and my ideas about Kashmir and my ideas about the larger issue. I'm just kind of in a meditative phase of my life while I'm learning, while I'm understanding and reading over a lot of things from across the world. Something is happening in my mind. I'll be sharing with you very soon. Ma'am, I think peer, non-peer statement. I like this. So people are liking your peer, non-peer statement.
And it's not just in Kashmir. I mean, a lot of my non-Muslim friends, they grapple with this whole Brahmin, Shia, Vaishya, Kshatriya in 2018. I mean, really, I think we've forgotten to look at each other from the spectacle of life. We all have the same set of organs. Our cerebral competencies are at par as long as we nourish ourselves with knowledge, and that if we have that hunger to learn more in life. I don't really understand why someone who's so-called from like an upper caste is given a lot more. I don't think intellectual faculties का कोई connection है. To be honest with you, caste से या आपकी capabilities से ये जो एक obsession है कि सैयद है तो सैयद में शादी करेंगे, शेख है तो शेख में, and you know Faisal, often times I have noticed और मैं shocked थी जब मैंने figure out किया that someone from a peer family married a non-peer and they thought they were doing her a favor.
This does happen.
We really need to transcend that.
So, there's one more question that Kashmiri youngsters are frustrated about professional, about non-professional life. What should be the strategy to end this imbroglio? I do agree. We were talking earlier also about the despairing times, the lack of hope that we have, the situation that we are in this time. This is quite understood that this despair will be there, this lack of hope will be there. But I feel we'll have to be strategic. People tell me, there's a difference between a case and a cause. So I look at it, if you look at it things from a legalistic perspective, then you will say it's a case. So you have a very good case, okay? But then you will also have to be strategic. You will also have to be tactical. You'll have to be careful about what steps to take, when to take, and you will have to possibly, I think, assess the entire situation first before taking your steps. I think people need to rework their strategy. I may not be able to talk clearly about it, but yes, one day very soon I'll be sharing more about this.
But stay put, guys.
My only issue is that let's not lose hope.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's important. I don't know why, but this is the first time where I'm actually feeling very overwhelmed about. I've never read that volume. I mean, the volume of questions that came in. I mean, I go live on my Instagram all the time, but there are not as many. Obviously, Faisal has done very well for himself, and people look up to him, and he has a great following. And this is the first time that I've read such in-depth comments, and it really hurts to see the state of and how negative people think about situations, and how
Exactly.
people it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart. This is, and I know probably a lot of people might think that it's so easy for you to sit there and talk about these things, and
It's
it's
very
true,
easy for us, which is very true.
which
In
is true.
fact, one more comment about Kawal Singh is writing from Jammu, and he tells us that we need to come together. In fact, when we are talking about being hopeful, we should also think about what happened in Kishtwar yesterday. There was an incident, and in spite of the possibility of violence, we saw people, communities coming together and maintaining brotherhood. I think inter-regional brotherhood between Ladakhis, between Kashmiris, between Jammuites. I think I see that also very important. And when you have such incidents, when people actually come together and maintain peace and stay by each other, I think those moments are also something which give us a lot of hope. Uh, that's also something which we should not lose sight of. We have a lot of comments. We may not be able to take all the comments today. This Devika Malik, thank you very much. Devika says hello to Tawheed Manzoor. Devika is presently.
I think I'm going to cry. Someone wrote something so sweet. Someone wrote, "You are as beautiful as your ideas."
That's excellent. So yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you. Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you.
So Arshad Iqbal is talking about independent thinking, that we need to be critical in our thinking. We need to be independent. When somebody tells us something, we should not immediately believe it. Let's question things, isn't it? Yeah. I think that's a very good comment which he has made.
But there's a fine line there. It's good to be an independent thinker, but one shouldn't be a cynic either, questioning every single thing. So there's a fine line there.
But I think questioning is important.
It is, but
questioning does lead you to somewhere. It does lead you to more meaningful conclusions about things.
Questioning everything capable of an inquiry.
Exactly.
That is very sensible. I think no society moves forward with a passive audience, with a passive population.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's a really good.
Yeah, but like everything else in life, there has to be that boundary.
Mubashir Makhdoumi says that we always hear about that system will be changed one day, but when will that day come? Arman Tanveer says that examinations are being conducted under candlelight. Why things are not changing? Raza Bukhari says that, I want to say that, sister, this is for Breen, that we should go deep into issues. Yes, we agree with that. So basically, you see a lot of impatience, you see a lot of resentment, you see a lot of anger.
ये बहुत nuanced मुद्दे हैं. इनको अगर एक-एक को आप पकड़ेंगे, पता नहीं कितने घंटों बात होगी. एक-एक चीज. You really need to pull out the weeds. You really need to see कहाँ loopholes है. हर एक loophole मुश्किल है. It's difficult, and my heart aches for it, truly. But again, not to sound pessimistic, जितने compassionate Kashmiri हैं, or जितना the amount of zeal they have to get there, and regardless of the kind of muck that is raked at them, I see a lot of hope.
Yeah. Sheikh Shaukat says that it seems that we are mute spectators. At least ask us something as well. We are almost trying very hard to accommodate as many comments without compromising on the continuity of the discussion as well.
Yeah. And how long does this allow you to be live?
We are just finishing, I think, in the next few minutes.
Yeah, so one
hour. We'll take a couple of questions and then we'll finish it. So basically, Nisar Bulla says that let's know what you want to convey to the people of Kashmir. I think we have discussed a lot about the hope and keeping hope in the despairing times. I think that's one conclusion which we would want to kind of get conveyed today. What about the dark future of Kashmiri students from Karna, from Kupwara? You people are linked with our place. Naik Shaukat is saying that the snow this time is in Bread in South Kashmir. I have complete sympathies. I understand what you mean by that. I wish that Allah Ta'ala changed the situation in our place very soon. When are you returning back? I'll be returning back very soon, I
I think
hope.
that's the hit question.
And
People love you.
yeah,
People
thank
love
you very much. I really appreciate and really value this affection and attention which I keep getting.
Yeah. We're live on 2 channels, one on Facebook, one on Instagram. Pretty sure people on Instagram are feeling extremely left out. I'm so sorry. It's just so difficult.
You can take a couple of questions from Instagram and then we can vote.
Yeah, so there are enormous black sheeps in the community. First of all, we need to eliminate these morons. Not Kashmiris are alike. The innocent people fall prey to these wannabe people in the community. Wow, that's a very hard-hitting statement. Faisal, would you like to say something to that?
I agree. There are always black sheep, and there are always people who you can call spoilers. Those spoilers are in every system. It's the responsibility of the right people to identify those spoilers and to neutralize them. You don't have to neutralize spoilers by killing them. It is that if there is an idea, you have to have one more idea to neutralize it. So ideas will be fought with ideas.
And some talent is misplaced. A lot of the times, people who are adept at other skills are put in a different role and they're not able to deliver. So an assessment of who is where really, it needs to be done.
Does AI have a role in IoT?
Oh God.
So this question you can say.
We can take it separately.
Fida Mohammed, so we can take this question when we talk about AI. We want to talk about AI. We have a lot of questions from Delhi, from Gurez. We have questions from faraway places of Kargil, questions from Leh. Somebody is suggesting that we need such debates and discussions in our universities also.
Someone's written, I want to
somebody
see you
is saying
as
that Shah Faesal is discriminating. He's reading the comments of Peer, Saids and Bukhari.
Oh my God, no guys. We just said that we want to transcend these boundaries. No, I'm sorry if you felt that. Really, इतनी light की speed पे comments आ रहे हैं, इतना मुश्किल है एक को पढ़ना.
That's a very unfair charge on me.
Sorry guys.
Ijaz Rashid Saab is saying that there are larger issues. I agree, there are larger issues, and we need to talk about those issues as well. Tawseef is saying AI is future, but there are some repercussions initially. We have had a discussion on AI last time. We'll be having one more discussion next time. I'll be requesting we have an AI expert, Sneha. She might also be joining us.
I really think AI should be taken up.
AI should be taken up. And NRKs are more concerned about their homeland. We totally agree with that. They're as much concerned as anybody else there. Sir, me from Handwara, give your opinion about what Kashmiris have achieved and lost in recent years. What have we achieved in recent years? Any one positive great thing which we have achieved?
Shouldn't have to think for this long. That bothers me.
No, even if we talk about, there are two parts to this question, right? What have we lost? What have we, I for sure think the world by and large, it's a better place in certain ways, but at the same time, I think in context of Kashmir, it has also gone back in time. It has regressed in a way in past few years in terms of violence, etc. So I think it's been a mixed bag, depending on what you consider more important.
I think I would agree with that we have lost a lot. There's been a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of people we have seen a lot in the last few years, but at the same time, I need to say from the world perspective, the world has become a more open place in recent times. People have been coming more closer to each other. But from Kashmir angle, I see that if there's one thing which we have succeeded in, it's that we have somewhere succeeded in making a place for ourselves in the rest of the world.
Agreed.
You go to a place anywhere in the world and you will say Kashmiri, they're doing very well. And that's something I think which not many people understand, not many people even know. I tell people here that, Kashmiris in big places here in Cambridge, in Boston, US, and Europe, everywhere. They get surprised. They tell us that you're a very small community. I show them Kashmiri Pandits. So many Kashmiri Pandits doing so well here. I keep meeting them every day. I met a couple of people from Jammu, a couple of people from Ladakh I met here in Cambridge. So we feel very happy that people are actually moving across the borders and making it in the rest of the world.
Even in Kashmir, I would say we have better access to information now than we had 5, 6, 7 years back, a decade back. You talk about hospitals, there are better hospitals. I'm saying that it's not at the level where it should be, but it's not the same level where it was 10 years back. schooling infrastructure, roads, etc.
Things
For
have
sure, not where it can be, but not at the same time where it was 10 years back.
Things have improved a lot, but then yes, we can still say that even while we are talking today, there is massive disruption because of weather in Kashmir. And we initially thought of postponing today's discussion so that maybe when we have better internet facility there and when the electricity issues are not there, we might then continue this. But then this just happened. It's a beginning. Maybe those of us who could not watch us live, maybe they can watch it offline later on.
Yeah.
This conversation, we just thought of sharing a few ideas today while we were sitting here on a weekend. So we hope that next time very soon we'll be coming back with some more discussion topics.
For sure.
Keep in touch. We'll be back very soon. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.